I serve in a lot of different ways, and I have mastermind. I have um, products on my website, on our website, innerwealthglobal.com. I've got intensives. I've got an intensive, the Inner Game of Wealth intensive coming up March 3rd through 5th in St. Louis, Missouri. And a lot of different ways that I help people and that I help move the needle in people's lives and on their wealth, their success, and their happiness. But my favorite by far, and it's not even close, like everything else is not even close, is being in front of a room speaking. There's nothing that lights my soul up on fire as much as being in front of a room full of people or a group of people with a common mission and helping them understand what it requires, what it's going to take for them to achieve and accomplish their goals and their outcomes. There's nothing that lights me up like that. So I've spoken in front of rooms. I'm still waiting for my first four-figure person room where it's 1,000 people or more, but I have spoken in front of rooms full of hundreds, and it doesn't matter if it's, I mean, the energy is a little different, but for me, it doesn't matter if it's 5 or if it's hundreds. It feels awesome being in front of a room and inspiring people and encouraging them and challenging them to live fuller, richer, more appreciative lives of all the blessings and gifts that we have all around us. And I commonly, probably not as commonly as I would, as I'm intending for 2023, but commonly get asked to come and speak to a group or a team about, maybe a leadership team, about, a certain maybe struggle or challenge that they're facing and how to overcome it, and how to get their mindset right, how to get their heart set right in order to overcome this challenge, this obstacle, or achieve this goal. And it's a lot of fun, because then when that happens, when I get invited to speak to a group about a specific topic, I get to go into my mind and into my inspirational space and start to create something that, and I love that creative process. As much as anything, I just love coming up with new content, new material. That's why I do this podcast, and I come up with a topic, and from the topic, I just hit, and I've got a little timer right here in the studio, and I'm just watching the timer, and when I start to get around 18, 19, 20 minutes, that's when I start winding it down, and sometimes it works to wind it down, and sometimes it doesn't, but I don't have an agenda. I don't have a set of notes in front of me. I just have a topic, and I'm going to jam and hopefully create some value in your life, and hopefully give you some clarity about some things. Maybe it connects and hits at that perfect time where it's the challenge that you're facing right now. So, but they challenged me. They asked me to come in and speak about leading and leadership through adversity. Now, this is a real estate investment company, and I've worked with this company for a long time, and they're just an amazing group of people and a lot of fun to be around. And they don't deal well with employees and people that don't align with their values, and their values are very heart-based, and they don't align well with customers or clients or prospects or suppliers or vendors or anybody that doesn't align with their values, and their values are very heart-based. They want to make sure that they are uplifting everyone that they come in contact with in every transaction, every business relationship that they have. So, but anyway, I was, as I started putting this content together, I started thinking, okay, I can go in there and I can do this typical leadership thing, and the attributes of a high-performing leader, but you know what? That's so rote. It's so overdone, and you can find books on that. But adversarial leadership, like, what is it? What is adversarial leadership? And I came up with two things that I wanted to present to these guys, and I did it. I did this morning, and it was a lot of fun for me. And I think that I left a lot of value in the room, and I think I got their wheels turning, and I challenged them to grow as leaders, and I challenged their personal growth, not just their leadership growth. But today I'd like to share with you those two concepts that I shared with that group, and I think it's a perfect time because this podcast is about business ownership and business leadership, and as the episode 2 is the business owner grows, the business grows itself. So what I intend to do through these two is help you expand your personal capacity, and as your personal capacity expands, so will your ability to lead and to help others grow. And as our capacity grows, so does our wealth and our success and our happiness and our fulfillment and all the good stuff that the universe, life, God, whatever you want to call it, whatever you honor, floods in to fill that capacity, that extra capacity that you've just created. So today I'd like to talk to you about those two things. And the reason right now is an awesome time to talk about leadership through adversity, especially in the real estate investment space, is because with the rise in interest rates, if you go back a year or two ago, maybe even 3 years ago, the real estate in general was just like red hot. And, everybody who entered the space, everybody who entered the industry was just crushing it. It's almost like you couldn't lose in the space because interest rates were so low. And I mean, transactions market was so hot, and there were so many properties just flying. And as soon as you put something on the market, I saw so many real estate agents, celebrating that, oh, we had it on the market an hour and we had 20 offers. And it wasn't because, the market was just that hot. that was the norm. And now that the market's pulled back a little bit, and now that there's, the percentage rate, the interest rate's a little higher, it's a lot more challenging. So the people that were succeeding and thriving in the good times right now are maybe getting choked out a little bit. But leadership through adversity, guys, there's two qualities, and this comes from 16 plus years in corporate and executive leadership positions, plus 5 years in the United States Marine Corps, rising through the ranks, non-commissioned officer. I left the Marine Corps as an E5, a sergeant, leader of Marines, and decorated. I had, I was regarded as a leader. But anyway, the point being is I learned a lot about leadership, and I learned through my own life and through my own example what to do and what not to do. I've had, high successes, and I've had really, really critical and soul crushing failures. So if you don't know the story, back in 2016, I almost took my own life because I was 300 pounds and suicidal and drinking at toxic levels all the time and abusing my wife and my kids, and physically, mentally, emotionally abusing my wife and my kids. And I would go to work, and I would go into the office, and I was leading hundreds of people, and I couldn't even lead myself. So I just lost the capacity to lead anything, a person, a business, anything. Couldn't lead myself. When you can't lead yourself, you can't lead anything. So I've learned a lot, and I want to share these two attributes, and they're probably not the normal attributes that you would hear from a leadership capacity. All right, but let's get into it. Let's jam. Two strong qualities of a powerful leader, especially in adversarial times. All right, number one is a high capacity for discomfort. A high capacity for discomfort. The discomfort in the uncertainty of uncertain outcomes and circumstances. So let's dive into this one a little bit. First of all, leadership requires discomfort. To be on the edge, to be a leader means you're always pushing the envelope. You're always pushing the boundaries. You're always seeing what's under the hood. You're always pushing the vehicle forward. You're always trying to expand circumstances and growing your people and growing yourself and growing the organization and just making sure that you're just not stagnant and you're not staying still and you're not running in place and you're not, you're growth. If you're not growing, you're dying as a business. And growth is the engine for survival in a business. So the goal is, you don't have to crush yourself with growth, But what you do need to do is continue to grow at the market rate and stay above market and stay above board and take market share and look for ways to increase your impact and to increase your ability to serve clients and to grow and to keep pushing and stretching the boundaries. And guys, that is uncomfortable. And if the leader isn't comfortable, if the leader doesn't have a high capacity for discomfort, then the organization is going to suffer, because the organization's only going to stretch beyond or up to the boundaries and the bounds of the leader. So if the leader doesn't possess a high capacity for discomfort, the organization won't, as the organization will just grow to reflect the values of the leader. So, and I said, in the uncertainty, in the discomfort of like being not knowing what's going to happen with outcomes and circumstances. Look, we thump our chest and we pretend as human beings to control all the variables and to control our outcomes and control our circumstances. And, just if you want it, go get it. Yes, that's all awesome. But let's be honest, it always doesn't work out the way we think it's going to work out. If it were up to me, I would be employed. I'll just be straight up. In 2016, 2017, I was looking for a job, and it was only because I couldn't find a job that I started a business, and it's become the business of my dreams. It's the business I always wanted, but never thought I could have, because I didn't believe in myself enough. And when I started growing my business, or when I started looking for jobs and I couldn't find one, like all I wanted, I was pissed that I couldn't find a job, that nobody would hire me. And man, it's the best thing that ever happened to me. But so things didn't go my way, but they did go my way, if that makes sense. I couldn't control the outcomes and circumstances because I just wanted a job. But man, thank goodness that prayer didn't get answered. Because if I did, I'd just be working for somebody else. And right now, instead of being an employee, I'm an employer. And that's a beautiful, beautiful place to be. It really is. To go that quickly from employer to employee, or from employee to employer, it took unanswered prayers. That was really cool. So the prayer behind the prayer is what got answered. But leaders in general have a high capacity for discomfort, because we don't know what's going to happen from day to day. But what we need to do is we need to be okay. We need to be okay. And the second attribute of a high capacity, a high performing leader, especially through adversarial times, is a high level of personal certainty. So there's plenty of uncertainty in the world, in the market, in the economy, in if you're going to be able to to buy and sell the amount of homes that you had last year, and what's going to happen. The Fed going to raise the rate and lower the rate. You don't control any of these variables. The shape of the market and all of this stuff, you don't control all these variables. But so that's the discomfort of the uncertainty of the outcomes and circumstances. But you do need to possess a high level of personal certainty. And personal certainty just means no matter what happens, I'll be okay. I'm going to say that again. No matter what happens, I'll be okay. And personal certainty extends far beyond just leadership in business. It's leadership at home. Well, what happens if we go broke? You know what? I'll be okay. Well, what happens if? I'll be okay. What happens if my spouse leaves me? I'll be okay. What happens if I lose my job? I'll be okay. What happens if? I'll be okay. Like being able to say that, not just say it, but to feel it and believe it, that is a sign of personal certainty. Personal certainty. I'll be okay. Now, the reason this is so critical, personal certainty is so critical in a leader, is because if the leader isn't personally certain, the team is not going to be certain. The team isn't going to be confident. isn't going to be able to confidently say that no matter what, we'll be okay if the leader doesn't feel that and believe that. Now, I am not suggesting that a leader lie and say they've got it all figured out. What I mean is if the leader says, if the leader is feeling anxious, that the leader says, yeah, I'm feeling anxious too, but you know what? We're going to be okay. Knowing that no matter what happens, we'll be able to handle it. That no outcome or circumstances will consume us. No outcome or circumstance will change the way that we think and feel about ourselves or our business or our ability to succeed long term. We're so personally certain when we are strong, empowered leaders, we are so personally certain that no outcome, no circumstance, no thing can change the way we handle, embrace, feel about, connect with, relate with ourselves or the significance of our life. It doesn't mean you can control all the variables. It just means no matter what the variables are, you know you're going to be okay. Number one, a high capacity for discomfort in not knowing how outcomes and circumstances are going to transpire. Number two is a high level and a high degree of personal certainty that says no matter what happens, I'm going to be okay. And since I'm going to be okay, you're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. Guys, when you have these two in spades, your team will believe in you, but you must believe in yourself first. If you go back a couple episodes ago, I talked about the 6 components to create anything you want. Number 1 is clarity. Number 2 is belief in yourself. Number 3 is trust in life. Number 4 is a heart set of abundance. Number 5 is inspired action. Number 6 is resilience. And when you take inventory of those 6, if you are lacking personal certainty, if you don't feel certain that you will be okay in any outcome or circumstance, it's going to be in one of those 6 components. Either you're not clear about what you want, either you don't believe in yourself, you don't trust in life, you don't have a heart set of abundance, you don't know what inspired, or you're not willing to take inspired action, or you're not resilient. And resilience basically just means patient determination. If you're not personally certain, it's because there's something disconnected in one of those 6 areas. And the easiest way to recognize if you're out of alignment with your personal certainty, it's if there's any glimpse, any hint of worry, fear, and doubt. And look, we're fear-based creatures. So I bet from day to day, personal certainty clicks in and clicks out. From minute to minute, from decision to decision, personal certainty might come and go. But that's when it's critical to go back inside and go inside and go into the inner work, the inner game of wealth, and say, why have I lost my personal certainty? What am I scared of? What do I doubt? What am I fearful of? Do I have clarity? Do I trust myself? Do I believe in myself? Do I trust in life? Do I believe I can have whatever I want? Do I believe there's enough to go around? Am I ready to take inspired action? Am I resilient? And doing this inventory will help you understand where your personal certainty is lacking at that moment. When the leader possesses a high capacity for discomfort and a high degree of personal certainty, the leader will prosper. And because the leader prospers, the team will prosper. Because when the leader is half-assed, the team will be half-assed too. And I've been on both sides of that. I've gone to work when I was in my corporate gigs. I would go to work sometimes so personally powerful and so personally certain that my team thrived. And I built an awesome team, and we absolutely crushed all our goals and objectives. But I also lost myself. In 2014, 15, 16, I lost myself. And that's when that house of cards started crumbling down, because I lost my personal certainty. And it's because I didn't believe in myself, and I didn't trust life, and I didn't really know what I wanted. I thought I knew what I wanted, but I didn't really know what I wanted. And I knew what I didn't want. I knew I didn't want a job, but I didn't know what I wanted. And it's really easy. When people struggle, they're focused on what they don't want. When people thrive, they're focused on what they want. Guys, I hope that helps. 2 components: high capacity for discomfort and locked in personal certainty. And if you want to, 2023 might be a year of challenges with market conditions, especially in the real estate sector. 2023 might be riddled with challenges and obstacles and things that we haven't faced in a couple years, especially in the real estate space. There might be some things that get us in headlocks that we didn't have to deal with the last couple years. But you know what? This is where the wheat separates from the chaff. And this is where the people that are in it to win it, this is when they rise to the occasion. And this is where people that were just riding a good market, this is where they get washed out. People that don't believe in themselves, people aren't clear, people that don't believe, don't trust in life, people that don't have a heart set of abundance, people that aren't taking inspired action, and people that aren't resilient. This is where they get washed out, because they lack personal certainty, and they lack a capacity for discomfort. Because when things get tough and things get uncomfortable, that's when personal certainty is at a premium. I hope this helped, guys. Till next week, just stand in your power. Understand why you would have any doubt in yourself. What stories are inside of you that are keeping you from feeling and experience your true divine essence, your infinite power, your abundant nature, and your ability to create whatever you want.